Hola!
Bom dia!
And welcome to the Sunny Saudade project.
So today we want to talk to you about why is it taking so long to get on to the land and start working on the abandoned farm.
First of all, if you are new here, we are Carlos and Charlotte. We are in the process of moving from the UK to Portugal to renovate an abandoned farm.
We actually first moved here back in March and have been trying to sort things out. We're basically moving to what is an abandoned farm that used to be owned by Carlos's ancestors. It hasn't really been lived in since about the late 90s. So yeah, it's a bit of a project.
If you like this kind of stuff, leave a like and subscribe, guys.
The farm we're moving to, it's roughly around 1.5 acres. It also has a borehole, although we need to sort that out. We also have the opportunity to connect it to the electricity quite easily. Although saying that, we do eventually hope to have solar power and go as off-grid as we possibly can. However, we do want to say it is definitely considered a ruin because it's been abandoned for so long. There actually isn't a roof on most of the building. There's just a few places that still have the roof.
Now, for everyone who's been watching our videos since the beginning and who have been following us, we just want to say that we're sorry.
We know it's been a bit of a while, but that's why we're doing this video. I don't want you to think that we've sort of lost interest or just decided to film something completely different. We definitely still want to do the project. We just need to fill you in on a few things because honestly, we didn't think it was going to take this long.
Anyway, we have 5 points that we want to share with you in regards to what's been going on.
So point number 1, transportation has been a massive issue.
In the Algarve, if you don't own a car or a vehicle, it is really hard to get to certain places. You know, the bus schedules aren't really good, the trains don't go to where they're supposed to, so it is really tricky. Especially on this land because it's in the middle of nowhere, and even finding it on Google Maps is really difficult.
It's a bit of a nightmare to get to, so public transport is just a complete write-off. Also, we do have the issues. I'm the only person that knows how to drive, but I'm having to relearn how to do everything on the right-hand side, and I know a lot of people find it really easy, but to put it in perspective, I learned how to drive when I was 21. I then met Carlos when I was 23. Lived in London for like 6 years and just didn't have a car. When I was in rural Hertfordshire, I just borrowed people's cars and they were often automatic. So I haven't driven a manual vehicle for a very long time. I'm now 30 and the dog's barking.
If it's not the cockerel, guys, it's the dog barking.
Wait for that dog to go.
Should do a bark sound effect.
It is a thing in Portugal with dogs barking.
Just like the cockerel video. If you haven't seen our cockerel video, check out Culture Shock.
Up there.
We'll put it somewhere.
I think he's finished. No, he hasn't. It's the same time every night. They walk in this late because he can't be walked, basically, and they walk in right below our window. It's a bit earlier than usual. Right. Anyway. As I was saying, it's been a long while since I've driven manually, so I'm relearning how to do that, plus learning on the other side of the road, and I'm a little bit sort of like a nervous person when it comes to those sort of things, driving other people's cars. If it's my own car, it's not necessarily a problem, but I've had to borrow Carlos's mum's car today. Was the first time I've ever driven on the right hand side of the road, and it confused the hell out of me.
That car is like 20 years old or something. That's a whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
I used to have that car when I was a wee lad.
Yeah.
And I'm 27 and she still owns it, you know.
I'm also, the cars I'm used to like super like revvy engine. I'm a bit of a bloke when I drive, and I like and it's like it's definitely a woman's car, and I struggled to even hear when I was supposed to change gear. It's a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, transportation has been a bit of a nightmare as we don't own a vehicle currently. However,
things are looking up. There are some prospects.
yes,
There are some prospects. I can't announce it. Nothing's been said, but there is a possibilities of things happening in the transportation in the very near future.
And it's probably not quite what you're expecting. We're probably going to make a video out of it, but yes.
I hope you guys are excited. So
point number 2, we want to talk about the speed in which things happen in Portugal.
which is very slow.
Yeah, we make a lot of jokes about it. In our last video, we touched upon it. And as we said, it does mean it forces you to slow down. However, when you are trying to sort out a big thing like buying your first home,
Or being legal in the country.
or being a legal immigrant as opposed to an illegal one, yeah, it can be mildly frustrating. The level of bureaucracy is something I want to mention as someone that comes from the UK, because you would think we would be the bureaucratic people, but at least there's one website you can go on and just do everything, whereas here you have to turn up in person. And although people there are super helpful, you can turn up and they point you in the right direction. Whenever we do turn up, there always does seem to be like that one little thing that just adds to the stress. You think you finished it and you haven't. If you watched last week's video, you know what I mean. Like, I can't believe you have to go all the way to the north of the country to get that sorted.
It's a good excuse for a video, at least, Charlotte.
Yeah,
you know,
well...
But the same could be said with the owning the land. So, for example, even trying to get the land assessed in Portugal, because we need to know the location of the land, how much it's worth, the legal information for it. All of that, you need that information to get the land assessed, and that has taken us like
weeks,
if not a month or two to get all that done.
Yeah, I think in the UK, to get something like properly assessed, you're talking about a matter of like a week tops. In the way that we mean anyway. I was quite shocked it took that long. And like Carlos did it when I first left the UK, like almost as soon as he got over COVID. And then we didn't get the information back until about a week after I had come back here. So it was a long time. I think a lot of it comes down to like, it is such a hot country, and so you've got things like siesta time, which is fine. And actually, I've said to Carlos's mum the other day, like, it makes so much sense. I think it's way more civilised than the UK. We sort of forgone having an actual proper lunch break. But it does mean that you've almost lost like one day, like one working day per week.
Which is a good point. Like in the UK, in one day, you could make a trip down to London. You could go to the bank. You can go into the social services. You can do whatever all in one day. But in Portugal, you do one of those per day.
Yeah.
So you can do a trip to the bank to sort out the thing, because it turns out you need this other thing to get that sorted. And by the time you'd finished being at the bank, the social security would require you something else. So it's a very slow country to get the things done.
And for example, like when we say lunch break, we're not talking about an hour, we're talking about 3-4 hours sometimes. I know that like the local post office, it's a 3-hour lunch break. So if someone couldn't deliver something in the morning and you're busy in the afternoon, like that's it, it's the whole day written off. Like it's not gonna happen.
So like from 2, is it like 1 or 2 until 3, 4 o'clock?
I think
there's
it's
a
from
gap.
like midday till sometimes 4 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And as we said, like it's partly why we moved here. Like, don't get angry if us complaining about it, but we are just putting out the fact that things just do take longer. And I think we put out our tour of the farm video thinking that, oh, in a month this will be completely sorted, and brutally honest,
it has not.
There's still so much to do. Yeah, so that's why we wanted to do this.
Yeah. And now we're gonna get to the meat of the bones, per se. Is that an expression?
Yeah, or I would say the more boring bit, and the bit that I can't help out with as much because I don't speak as good Portuguese.
Which is the legal stuff. Can't say this other word.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea about, at least for our case, because it's an inherited piece of land, or if you're looking to buy a piece of land in Portugal, but it hasn't been in the market. Okay, so this means that you can't go up to a estate agent and be like, hey, I want to buy XYZ, the guys have the price, you go and see it. So this was a little bit of a tricky one because we had to do a lot of steps and we had to do like a lot of things to get into that stage where it could be sold.
I know some of you are probably thinking right now, like, oh my God, why would you go for all that? But it does save us money. So although it is annoying now, in the future it means we have more to work with when we're actually renovating the property. To be brutally honest, I don't think we could afford something in the Algarve if we went to go and completely buy it outright, because some of it's just mad down here. It's really popular and it's beautiful. You can understand why, but so we are lucky, but it does mean that this part is really annoying.
So for us to get a value on the property, for us knowing how much we're going to invest on it or to actually spend money on it, we had to get the value of the land. To get into that stage, we had to do the following. We had to go into a Portuguese website, official website, and trace the area of the land in a map. Okay. Once you get that information, you have to print them out so that you have an aerial footage of the land. That doesn't take that long. Okay. The next step is to get the legal information on the land. You see, at least in our case, with inherited pieces of land, there's a tax code that you then go into the official Portuguese government website, and that will give you the information. But to have access to that website, you need to apply for a activation code so that they know it's you and not someone else. So that section, that bit, just to trying to get that code to log in to look at the legal information, took about 1 to 2 weeks to actually get that code. Once we managed to log in, all the information was there and it was fine, and then it tells you the amount that it's worth, but that's only the amount on the Portuguese government, because then you have to bear in mind inflation and how much other people are selling it. So essentially what you have to do is you have to get it assessed, and then and to get it assessed you need to contact someone. And so we managed to get into contact with someone. They went and viewed the land and it was fine, but again, this person, he was a professional, someone who understands about it. It took him a week to a week and a half because the property is like super rare, because it's in the house is considered it's like an urban piece of land, but it's got a ruin, so you can't consider it a building. And then you have other plots of land, in the land. So it just gets really tricky to get it assessed, So all this to say, this took us months just to get the value so we can do an offer to someone,
I honestly
essentially.
thought we moved here beginning of March, and I honestly thought by mid-April we would have had this done. And I was way off.
Very optimistic, Charlotte.
But in back home, that's how long it would have took. And for me, I just couldn't get my head around that's how long these things take. And it's fine. It's fine. We knew there were going to be things like this, but it still was just like...
And the really annoying part about all this is that you are probably wondering, well, wouldn't you be able to sort all these things out in the UK prior to moving to Portugal? And the answer is no, because you need to go to specific places and you need to do these things. We wouldn't have been able to get that access code in the UK because it has to be sent to a Portuguese mailbox, and all these other things. And then to actually get in contact with someone who's an agent, or an independent person to actually view the land, we probably would have had to fly over a couple of times, and it just wouldn't have been feasible.
And that's, you have to remember as well, the cost of flights, it massively adds up.
But hey, on the bright side, we've done the hard bit.
We know other people who have come over to Portugal have also had problems. It's just the nature of the beast. Like, you come here to slow down, things take longer. Carlos is having a little lay down because he's been at work all day, and kind of leads us on to the next point. There's other stuff that's also going on in the background, which we haven't really... I wanted to put my hand down. We also wanted to talk about...
We're planning a wedding on Monday!
this Monday.
This video will be published on Wednesday. So in a few
5
days, we'll be doing our wedding celebration.
But it's not technically a wedding. For those of you who don't know, we are actually already married. But what was supposed to happen is we were supposed to be married over here in June of 2020. You see where this is going?
So Mr. Vid happened. We had to delay it to 2021, and then we had to delay it to 2022. But because we were planning on moving to Portugal, we thought, well, it'll be a lot easier for Charlotte legally if we get married in the UK. Just do a small little thing. And then by the time that she got to Portugal, things would be easier, which they have been. So
they have. But also, when we say small little thing, everyone got really excited because we'd all been waiting for a wedding for so long. We basically had a wedding already, but none of Carlos's family, other than his mum, could make it because there was still a limit on about 30 people, I think it was at the time. So now, on Monday, we're having not a wedding, but like some kind of celebration situation, which I'm really excited for, but it's also why we're filming on a phone as opposed to a GoPro, because we do not have time to fully like in-depth edit, so sorry about the quality, it's not as good as we usually would like. So as well as legally trying to, you know, sort out the land, we're also trying to sort out what is essentially a wedding, not wedding thing. And it's really creeped up on us. Because we'd sort of forgotten about it almost. Oh, we've done the wedding. And they were like, no, we haven't. And then it was like, a month ago, and we were like, oh my God, we have so much to do.
We had so much to do.
I want to take a screenshot of my week. I've organised my week within like hours. Like, I've pinpointed what I'm doing. And we were supposed to film this 2 hours ago. I haven't even eaten dinner.
Forbid.
I haven't even eaten dinner. It's like nearly 10 o'clock, if not 10 o'clock.
It was so silly. We don't want to get into too much detail because it's obviously a personal event for us, but we kind of left it to last minute, and some things happened that weren't of our control, but I had to deal with getting a bus sorted for some of the guests, some of Charlotte's family that are flying over.
Taxis flying, last minute hotel sort outs for some people.
And then also...
flowers, I'm buying those in like 2 days.
Yeah.
It's Monday. It's a week today. I haven't bought flowers.
And we had to get like music equipment. Honestly, that was kind of really good.
Easiest thing.
The easiest thing ever. We just showed up to a shop in Faro. The dude said, right, you can get speakers, lights, X amount. I'll be there on that day. Sorted. I was like, yes, mate.
We literally sorted it in 10 minutes.
Yes, mate. It was so good.
Yeah, that's the only fast thing about Portugal, is apparently booking music equipment. But yeah, so that happened.
Mate, you look well knackered, Charlotte.
I'm so tired.
You look so tired, bless you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's obviously a thing. And we're excited for it, and we're glad it's finally happening, because we always wanted to get married. We don't necessarily believe in the big traditional thing, but
we just wanted our families to meet.
Yeah, we have family literally like all over the world, all over Europe, and it's just exciting to at least get some of them to meet, because it'll probably be the only chance, really. So yeah, that's what that's all about, and it snuck up on us, and we've had to focus a lot on that, as opposed to the land, basically.
Which brings us on to the next point about something that we had to focus on, or it focused on someone else? On me.
Yeah, some of you know this already.
As some of you may have known about, was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks?
It's about a month ago now.
Cheese and bread, man.
It's literally just after we published the video.
Yeah. So you may have noticed that there were a couple of videos where I was by myself or Charlotte was by herself. Those videos weren't this normal content that we would normally do. And that is because I got the vids. It was it was a very interesting experience because we lived in London, right, one of the most infectious areas in the whole of the
Yeah.
UK. It was closed down for Christmas, and we never got it in London, right?
We never got it
Like,
in London. We never got it the second time around it came in London. We never got it when we were in Hertfordshire, which was really bad for it when the third lot came around.
But all it took was one evening, and I know how I got it.
Eurovision.
It was the Eurovision evening. We went out to celebrate with my mates. Ended up in this Irish pub, and I think we even know who it was. There was this random dude.
Yeah, no, literally breathing down someone's
He
neck.
was breathing down someone's neck. He was having a good time. He was sweating, and luckily, right. So, not to get into too many details. Charlotte was outside with some of the mates who didn't catch it, and I was inside just
with everyone else who did get it.
just having a good time. So I got it. I got the vid. Charlotte didn't feel comfortable staying here.
It was. Can I just put out, like, I didn't want to leave him. I felt so guilty. And
She abandoned me.
No. Any of you saw the video know that I literally made a video and got so stressed and I basically cried. It was just that we are living in a very small flat with other people currently whilst we're sorting this out, and it was I was sleeping on a sofa. None of us could properly isolate because here you still have to isolate for a week. And I just realised it just wasn't going to work. Like, it was so stressful. It was the most stressful, like, 2 weeks of my life. Being apart from him as well was like, it's the longest we've ever been apart since we started seeing each other. Like, I don't think we've ever done more than, like, 5 days. It was horrible. I hated it. Like,
yeah, so that put a dent on things as well.
it was a whole week, nothing could get done. Absolutely nothing. Carlos got really unwell. And then, yeah, obviously, I kept testing negative. And when we realised I wasn't going to get it, I caught a flight out because where I was basically sleeping was just a total nightmare. And yeah, I went to the UK. So I obviously couldn't do a lot from the UK. Carlos couldn't do a lot because he couldn't physically leave the building.
And I thought it was a great idea to give Charlotte our filming equipment whilst in the UK.
We thought I'd only be away for about a week. It turned out to be like 2.5 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But you did film that video.
I did
about
film
the Fisherman Festival. It was a cheeky bonus.
That was a great thing. I was just I had finished work. We're going a bit off tangent, but I had finished work and I was just walking back. I was like, wow, there's a festival. Cool. I'm just going to film it, you know. And so it was kind of a good. That video sums up the situation because I went there by myself. I met up with my mate, and then on the third day, Charlotte flew back, and it was
and
just
cried
great.
some more.
Bless her.
But yeah, so I think that's all of the points we had to cross off. We do have some good videos coming up. They're not on the land yet. This is our more land focused one. We do eventually want to get to doing one sort of travel around Portugal video and one land video per week. I honestly just can't give you a date right now because we're learning every day that it just doesn't go like that.
You can only plan so much, and then you can only do so much as well, you know.
Yeah. But we are getting closer. Every day we do something, and after next week we should hopefully have some good news that should help us to go more over there.
Guys, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't liked and commented already, like and comment our video, ring our notification bell, and we are going to be trying to implement playlists on our channel because, you know, we have started this channel 3 to 4 months ago. And
6 months ago, babes. 6 months. 6 months.
6 months?
I did it after I had my back injury in London. Yeah.
Cheese and bread. So we've got 6 months worth of videos. So we are going to be doing playlists for the travel stuff, for the land stuff, and Charlotte wants to do a food stuff as well.
We also have a good video coming up. We filmed a lot of the popular Saints festivals. So if you're interested in more Portuguese culture, that should hopefully be out in the next 2 weeks. It's just going to take a while to edit because I've literally got hundreds and hundreds of shots on the GoPro. Like, there's so many. But it was such a cute video to film, so check that out when it comes out. Thank you for sticking with it. And sorry.
Thank you and sorry. Metaphor for life.
I'm going to go eat now.
You do that, Charlotte.
So hungry.